Hospitals, a weekend of worry and relief. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another story about hospitals. My name is James, and today I'm going to share with you a new experience I had with a hospital during a stressful weekend. Hospitals are places we turn to when something's wrong. They're busy, sometimes overwhelming, but always there to help. Last time, I told you about a week when I dealt with tonsillitis and learned how hospitals work. This time, it's about a different situation, one that started with a scare and ended with peace of mind. It's a story of appointments, waiting, and finding answers. I hope you enjoy listening to it. Let's get started. I work at Office Comfort Company, a company that sells office furniture like desks, chairs, and cabinets. I'm a sales assistant, and my job keeps me on my toes, talking to clients, managing orders, and helping my team. I'm usually healthy, but a few weeks after my tonsillitis episode, something new happened. It began on a Friday afternoon at work. I'd been feeling fine all week, making calls, typing emails, and joking with my coworker Sarah. But around 3 p.m., I noticed a sharp pain in my stomach. It wasn't bad at first, just a quick sting, so I ignored it and kept working. By 4 p.m., the pain came back, stronger this time, on the right side of my belly. I shifted in my chair, thinking it was gas or something I ate. Lunch had been a burger from the cafe downstairs, nothing unusual. But at 4:30 p.m., it hit again, and I winced. Sarah looked over and said, "James, you okay? You look pale." I said, "Yeah, just a stomachache." She frowned and said, "Maybe call a doctor if it doesn't stop." I nodded, finished an email, and left at 5 p.m., hoping it'd go away at home. On the bus, the pain got worse, sharp and steady. I got home at 5:45 p.m., dropped my bag, and lay on the couch. I drank water, thinking it might help, but by 6 p.m., I was sweating and feeling sick. This wasn't normal. I grabbed my phone and searched stomach pain right side. The results said things like appendicitis and see a doctor. That scared me. I decided to call Central City Hospital, the same place I'd gone for my throat. It was 6:15 p.m. when I dialed their number. A man answered, "Central City Hospital, how can I assist you?" I said, "Hi, I'm James Wilson. I've got a bad stomach pain on my right side. Can I book an appointment?" He asked, "When did it start?" I said, "This afternoon, and it's getting worse." He paused, then said, "Our clinic closes at 7 p.m., but we have an emergency room open 24 hours. Can you come now?" I said yes, waiting until morning felt risky. He said, "Bring ID and insurance if you have it. See you soon, James." I hung up, grabbed my wallet and keys, and called a taxi at 6:30 p.m. The ride took 20 minutes. I arrived at 6:50 p.m. The hospital's emergency entrance was bright, with ambulances parked nearby. I walked in, clutching my side, and found the check-in desk. A nurse behind the counter said, "Hello, how can I help?" I said, "Hi, I'm James Wilson. I called about stomach pain." She gave me a form, name, symptoms, insurance, and I wrote, "Sharp pain, right side, started today." I handed it back with my ID at 7 p.m., and she said, "Take a seat, we'll call you." The waiting area was busy, about 15 people, some coughing, others holding arms or heads. I sat down, trying to breathe through the pain. It came in waves, sharp, then dull, then sharp again. At 7:20 p.m., a nurse called, "James Wilson?" I followed her to a triage room, a small space with a bed and machines. She took my temperature, 37.6 degrees Celsius, a little high, and my blood pressure. "Where's the pain?" she asked. I pointed to my lower right side. She pressed gently, I flinched, and she said, "We'll get you to a doctor soon." She left, and I waited, nervous. At 7:40 p.m., Dr. Kim, a young woman in a white coat, came in. "Hi, James," she said. "Tell me about this pain." I said, "It started this afternoon, sharp, on my right side, getting worse." I feel nauseous too. She pressed my stomach, harder this time, and I gasped. Does it hurt here? She asked, pointing lower. I said yes. She said, it could be appendicitis, but we need tests, an ultrasound and blood work. Stay here. A nurse took me to another room at 8 p.m. for the ultrasound, a cold gel and a wand on my belly. Then they drew blood, 2 vials. I was back in the triage room by 8:30 p.m., waiting again. At 9 p.m., Dr. Kim returned. James, good news, it's not appendicitis. The ultrasound shows a small kidney stone. Your blood work confirms it, no infection, just irritation. I sighed, relieved it wasn't surgery. She said, it should pass on its own, drink lots of water, take painkillers. I'll prescribe something stronger. Come back if it gets worse or you see blood. She gave me a prescription for pain relief and said, rest this weekend. I thanked her, got the medicine from the pharmacy, $20, and took a taxi home at 9:45 p.m. I took a pill, drank water, and slept. Saturday, I woke up at 8 a.m. The pain was duller, still there, but bearable. I stayed home, sipping water all day, 2 liters by noon. Miss Carter texted, how are you, James? I replied, kidney stone, out until Monday. She said, take care. By evening, the pain spiked again, sharp for an hour. I took another pill and rested, hoping it'd pass soon. Sunday morning, I felt a strange relief at 9 a.m., the pain stopped suddenly. I went to the bathroom and saw a tiny stone, proof it was over. I smiled, feeling lighter. I called the hospital at 10 a.m. to update them. Hi, I'm James Wilson. I saw Dr. Kim Friday, the stone passed. The nurse said, great news. Rest today, but you're clear unless symptoms return. I thanked her and spent the day relaxing, water, tea, and a movie. Monday, I went back to work, still a little tired but fine. I told Sarah, the hospital figured it out, kidney stone. She said, that's wild, James. Miss Carter checked in, all good? I said, yes, back to normal. She smiled, glad you're okay. The hospital turned a scary weekend into a recovery, and I was grateful. That's my second hospital story. I hope you liked it. Hospitals can be intense, but they bring clarity. Have you had a health scare? Thank you for listening, and see you next time.